Harmony, hi.
Hi.
I love you.
I love you.
You are considered a mentor to at least 5 other women that I know. And
Hooray.
I know, hooray. And you're such an incredible person. And you have such an incredible story. And I was like, I really need to get you on the podcast so we can talk more about it because everyone knows the magic of harmony. But I feel like we need to know the origin of harmony.
Okay.
I obviously did some light creeping. So I know about this because I've known you for how many years now? 2016 is when I started teaching at the Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you're the reason why I got the job at the Madison. Like, let's be real. During my 9 audition saga, you were finally like, she's ready. Can you please just get her on a bike? She's not leaving us alone.
Yes, I love it.
So tell me about Little Harmony. Like, I want you to go back. Like, what were you like as a kid? Where did you grow up? Tell me all the things.
Yeah. I grew up first,
Yeah.
this has become increasingly important to me. I want to thank God and the universe that we're alive and breathing today and sitting here healthy and well, that you've invited me to this space, that Taylor has this space available for us and this amazing setup. So just to recognize all these blessings within and around us is amazing.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank God. Thank Taylor.
Thank you.
Thanks to listeners listening, taking time to self-improve because that's what your podcast encourages. So awesome.
Yes.
I was born January 27th, 1974. I was named Patricia Renee Fulton. They called me Patty. Until I was 18. My dad coached me soccer. We went to Disney every summer, and I had a sister. Really great life growing up. Really great family. I say that my family really, really taught me what love feels like.
Oh.
And I felt like I still have it, a feathered nest in my family.
Yeah.
My mom, my dad, my sister, my extended family as well. But just like this lovely experience of showing up for me. And interestingly enough, I say too, I feel like we had, there's like these elements of mind, body, spirit. And I feel like we had the mind part in the way of education. We were going to school. Body, played soccer, into movement and sports. But spirit never went to church, didn't talk about the non-physical spiritual side of life, but also felt massively loved all the time. So it was there.
Yeah.
It just wasn't talked about.
Discussed. Yeah.
Yeah. So once I get into, when I was doing yoga, I felt like, oh gosh, there's this aspect of my life that I haven't even uncovered, unfolded at all. And it was this spiritual side, which was really awesome to then in my late 30s to start exploring that. So
in your late 30s, you started yoga.
Okay. 2000. How are you at math?
I'm not good at math. I don't know if Taylor's any good at math.
2003.
Taylor's like, yes, I can.
Okay. I mean, 2003 is when I got certified for yoga.
Okay.
So, and I'm 50 now. I just turned 50. So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, ballpark.
Yeah. And so, but I really lovely growing up. Went to college. Patty felt a little bit immature as a name, so I switched to Patricia. And so I was Patricia in college. I went to University of Cincinnati. I lived at home. It's what my sister did, and I was just kind of following along.
Yeah.
But I also call myself the rainbow sheep of the family.
I love that.
Where my mom and sister are pretty uncomfortable flying. I've traveled internationally. I've traveled by myself. I've backpacked in Australia and New Zealand and done stuff like that.
Yeah.
My dad traveled internationally too, but they just kind of lived in the same city area and felt comfortable and happy like that. And I've moved around and changed a lot. It's just been kind of my nature to skydive and you can't
stay in one place.
I love change.
Even now, like I just said, like you teach at so many different studios, like you're constantly moving around and you aren't afraid of change.
Yeah,
at least you love change.
I love it.
It's really hard for me to get on board with change. So I find that very fascinating. So I remember, I think we were having lunch I think it was like Sushi Brokers 2017 when it blew my mind that you were originally even named Patricia. I was like, excuse me, you're not Patricia.
Yeah.
You are Harmony.
Yeah.
Like mind, body, soul, you are Harmony. So when you decided to change your name, like what brought on that decision?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite experiences in my life. So I was reading a book called Bhagavad Gita for my yoga teacher training. And I just highlighted the word harmony in the book. Just the word harmony in certain places. No idea why. And then I started a brand new journal after I finished that book. First word I wrote on the page was harmony. And after I did that journal entry, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my name. I didn't choose it. And I would never, ever, 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 ever have chosen the name Harmony because I'm a yoga teacher. Because that's corny.
It is. So Harmony came before yoga. We need to
No,
go in.
it was during my yoga teacher
but
training.
like, yes, but it chose you. You didn't choose the name, and it wasn't a branding strategy. We want to go on record saying that.
Absolutely.
Like it wasn't like
No.
yes.
No, and now
Okay.
I actually wish my name was my dog's name, which is Juno.
That's a great name too.
I love the name Juno.
That's a really good name.
Yeah, I give it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Dinner reservations, my coffees, whatever. They're like, "What's your name?" Juno. It's always Juno. I wish it would. I would love to be Juno.
Yeah.
I love the name.
Yeah.
If so, had I chosen, I'd be Juno.
Yeah.
But God chose, and I'm Harmony.
Yes.
So that's how
Yes.
that's how that happened.
And you're gonna just do one change, no more changes after this. Like you are settled in. That's it.
I cannot see the future.
Got it. Miss Open to change over here all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so how you started your career off in the yoga? When was this in Arizona? You did your yoga training, or where did you? Okay, so it was in Arizona. When did you move to Arizona?
2000.
2000. Okay, so you've been here ever since. And
Yeah,
I think
I'm telling that story too because it's one of my other.
Please
I have some
share
like
it.
highlight life stories that I love.
Yes.
So I was living in Columbus, Ohio. I lived Cincinnati. I moved to Columbus to live with a cousin, but I was an administrative assistant, and I got an email from an acquaintance from high school, and he sent it to about 60 people, and he said, "What do you look forward to when you wake up in the morning, and what are you grateful for when you go to bed at night?" And back then, this was 1999. I don't know how many people knew what the reply all button even meant, but 1 out of 60 hit reply all and changed the direction of my life. A complete stranger hit reply all, sent his answer, which I've printed out.
Wow.
I was sitting at my desk and I read this message and it says mountains. He lived in the Great Grand Tetons. And he said, I look forward to driving down the street and almost driving off the road looking at the mountains. They're so beautiful. Sitting on the top of my Jeep, the hood of my Jeep, after a hike, watching the sunset over the mountains. I know where my mom is. I know who my mom is. I know she's my maternal mom. But it was as though I had received an email at work that said, "We found your mom." It was so crazy.
Yeah.
"We found your mom and she's in the mountains." And I went into the bathroom and cried my eyes out. And in that bathroom made the decision, I have to move where there are mountains. Went to Colorado, found a place to teach, found a place to live, had it all set up. And then I was going to move in 3 months to Colorado. I was talking to friends, and every time I said Colorado, it didn't feel right. It didn't fit. And I said that to a friend one time, and she goes, "What fits?" And I had visited Arizona once, and I said, "Arizona." So 11:30 at night, we went to the office where I work, got on the internet, found somebody who was looking for a roommate in Phoenix, Arizona. I switched, and I moved.
That's okay. So roommate on the internet.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Oh, yeah. I've done couch surfing, which was one of my favorite things, too.
Yes.
I would travel and just sleep on people's couches. And, yeah, I've hosted some couch surfers and
I love it.
Yeah, exchange student and
So good.
all those things. I like that.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I can see you doing this, and I can see you being very comfortable doing this because you're just so good with people and you're just so good and solid with yourself. That's the one thing, and I think that's what makes you such an incredible mentor. You allow people to tap into themselves when they don't know how to, if that makes any sense.
Well, explain that more.
So
or
I know,
what's your experience
well,
of
my
that?
experience, well, one, you were probably like the only one backing me to actually teach at the Madison, which is crazy to even think about because that was so long ago and it was such a huge part of my life. But I think that you see things in others that maybe not a lot of other people see. And you really do foster people's greatness and really allow them to see it. Because I remember I was so, I mean, hell, you know how many times I auditioned. And after the fourth or fifth time, I was like, maybe this isn't it. Like, maybe this is not it for me. And you were like, no, like, continue to do it. Like, just show up. And I did. I just continued to show up. And I think that it just took you and also someone like you who's been doing it for so long and is so incredible at it, just to kind of affirm and remind me, oh no, you belong here. And you need that outside voice occasionally. So I'm just always like eternally grateful for you, because if it wasn't for you, I don't think that I would have become a spin instructor, at least the caliber of an instructor that I became after the Madison. Like I taught a little bit, but like it wasn't until you were like, nope, like you belong here. Let's do this. Like and you have been that way for so many other people too. And you've also been great at showing up for others when they need you the most. I remember when I was going through all my stuff a couple years back, you were the one who was texting me. Even if I didn't text you back, like it was consistent, reaching out and just showing up, which is huge. And there's not a lot of humans that can do that. So I just want to thank you.
Yeah.
And also Val says hi. My mom. You're
Hi, Val. I know. It's just
maybe
like
we cut that out so you looks like you remember my mom.
Can we do a do-over? Just do it again.
My mother Val says hi.
Hi, Val.
She does. She loves you. So, I think you started off teaching your spin career, at least from my knowledge. Was it at the Village? Where did you start teaching? And how did you find spin? How did you make that transition from yoga to spin? Because those are two very different communities.
Yeah. I started teaching in 1995.
Okay.
I was doing step aerobic VHS tapes in my parents' living room. And I was doing them. Kathy Smith was the teacher. And I thought, how does she talk and do this?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. And so one time I was like, you know what? I'm going to repeat everything she says. So I'm going to talk and do it. So I did one session and repeated everything Kathy Smith said. I got done with that and was like, where do I get certified?
Wow. Okay. So wait, when you were saying repeating, you were like in class by your like repeating the
In
things.
my parents' living room.
Wow.
On my step with the TV, with the VHS tape playing, and
Okay.
she'd go over the top and I'd do it and say over the top. So I did the exercises and I repeated everything she said to experience talking while exercising, because I was
The
like,
breath work is insane.
I was like, how's that happen?
Yeah.
Eventually we sound like we're not even working out.
Yeah.
You know, like we're up there spinning and be like 5, 4, 3, like not even sounding out of breath. So
25-year-old Tessa, totally. Now I'm just like, I'm going to hop off the bike and I'm just going to work the room a little bit. Maybe add in a couple of dance moves. We'll see. So funny.
Yeah. So I just had to try that on.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I got certified, taught step, high, low.
Yeah.
And then I just started adding modalities. I taught slide. Do you even know what that is?
I just think of the movie Heavyweights. Have you ever seen that movie? Taylor, have you ever seen the movie Heavyweights?
Oh, yeah, with Ben Stiller.
Yeah, with Ben Stiller, and like they're on that slidey thing
with
and
socks
like
on.
Yeah, that's what I think. So you taught that?
Yeah.
Oh my
Country
gosh.
line dancing.
Yes.
Anyway, so spin was just like a natural thing becoming popular. So I got spin certified. And so I started teaching. Was I spinning in Ohio? I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely here at Bally Total Fitness.
Okay.
Which is 101 in Shea.
Is it still around? Still around?
I don't think so.
No.
So that was my first. And Power Flex, but like I did some personal training. Anyway, and then, so then I was like, okay, what modality do I add? Like it was very left brain, Pilates or yoga.
Yeah.
And I just tried them on. I just took a Pilates class and I took a yoga class. I took a yoga class at One Yoga. It was a magical yoga space here in Phoenix for a long, long time. And I just took that class, and that's where I felt like, oh my gosh, mind, body, spirit. I've had mind and body. This is exposing me to spirit. And I want to lean in and explore.
And that's something you kind of yearn for. Like you said, you've always felt it.
Yeah.
But tapping into it is a completely different other thing.
Yeah. And reading about it and learning about it and talking about it.
Yeah.
So
that's incredible.
So it was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Signed up for a teacher training, called my mom, walked out of the teacher training the first day and was like, this is going to change my life.
Wow.
I don't know how, but it is. So.
But I feel like you always knew. Did you always know that you wanted to be in the health and fitness arena?
No.
No.
I was a cheerleader in high school.
Okay.
And we did dance routines, and that was my favorite part of cheer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to college, I feel like I was too tall to be a cheerleader. I didn't even try. I think my mindset was just like, I'm 5'8". No one's gonna. You need to be 5'0" for them to
So
throw
we need
you
to be
in
able
the
to
air.
launch you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even I didn't even try out to be a cheerleader in college, but I missed movement, and
Okay.
especially, you'll get this, movement to music.
Yes, it's therapeutic. Even just driving and listening to music. It's something just like about music and motion.
Yeah.
It's just it's meditation.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Yeah. So I missed that. And so, that was like that was where the Kathy Smith videos and then that teaching all like kind of came together, and I started teaching. So no, I didn't have this. I know I want to be in wellness. Mm-hmm. It just I missed cheerleading. I missed movement to music. I started moving to music, and then
it evolved.
Yeah.
That was, I can identify with that, because I think the reason why I got into spin when I was younger, and even still now, like it's kind of like embarrassing to admit, but I am. I used to, growing up in my household, there was a lot of like arguing just because it was a mixed family. So it just came with its own quirky dynamic that like led to its own bullshit. But I used to go in the backyard, go in the swing set, and like put on my headphones and just swing and like listen to music. And it would like just soothe me, that rocking motion. So I feel it completely. So when I took my first spin class, I think my friend made me take her class. I didn't want to take class. I was like not a gym person, didn't like working out. Still not really. But I was just like, oh, I can get with this.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to work out, I might as well get paid to do it. So again, thank you for getting my career launched at the Madison for me. So you got into teaching a wider range of classes, and then fast forward, when did you start teaching at the Madison? Because how did that come about? Because then you were also a manager. Like that was such a huge part of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the Village, at Gainey Village, very, very, very happy. Happy with how much money I made, very happy with my schedule, very happy with my students, community, like really, really happy. And the person who ended up opening the Madison came to one of my classes and said, would you want to manage this new studio I'm opening? And I was like, well, this has got to be a pretty sweet deal because I'm really happy. So they made it a sweet deal, and I switched over. And that was a really spectacular experience of being a part of building something.
Yeah.
I was allowed to use my voice, kind of put my fingerprints on lots of places in the space. So that was 2012. I think we opened September 2012.
Yeah. 2012 seems right.
Yeah. So... yeah, so that was really fun I would write for the website, and I was an exec manager and hired spin teachers and yoga teachers and help kind of get that off the ground. That was really magical.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then you transitioned out, and then I want you to talk a little bit more about Gooder Goods.
Okay.
How that got started. And where it's at right now.
Yeah.
And what that looks like.
Yeah. So Gooder Goods was when preparation meets opportunity. And so Kaleidoscope was inside the Madison building, and they were moving out. And I don't know, but I think it had something to do with COVID. It was in March of 2020. So they were moving out. The owners of Madison reached out to Chef Joe Myers, who's a magnificent chef, had been a chef for them when they first opened, and they had Seed Cafe.
Yeah, I remember Seed.
So they reached out, said, do you want to open a cafe? Joe calls me, and he's like, do I want to open a cafe at the Madison? Came to our house. Nate, my boyfriend, is a big entrepreneur and visualization type guy. So we sat in our living room, talked about his mission, vision, values, Joe's, whatever. And at the end, I was like, hey guys, do you want to open a cafe?
Yeah.
This is March 2020. So that year, as
the world shut down in March of 2020.
Everything is shutting down. We are building a brand, choosing the name, building a staff, taste testing menu items. And we opened in masks in November 2020.
I remember.
Yeah. So that felt really good. And that felt like when it's right, it's divinely driven. It doesn't matter what's happening externally. It doesn't matter what the world is doing when your soul's being pulled and called. And that's what happened to us.
Yeah.
So awesome. And then I was efforting to make that place work, but I'm also not a restaurant owner runner, and was working in all these different areas to try to make it profitable, and that wasn't working. And then Nate and I it was harder and harder on us because we were in it together. And like there was finally a time where I was like, all right, master bathroom, master closet, master bedroom. We can't talk about Good or Goods.
I was going to say, how the heck do you manage?
Because we'd be in the shower
with your partner.
And he'd be like, so do you want to add? I'm like,
oh my God. Shut up.
Like, not right now.
Yeah.
So that was a very challenging, lots of like pressure cooker for Nate and I to be in that situation. And then he was also CEO of Valley Wise Health Foundation. So he had a full-time job. Besides, he's an avid cyclist, has 2 teenager kids, and so it was a lot. And then that space closed down. And so right now we have all of our stuff in storage.
Okay.
And in July when it closed, I was like looking hard for a new spot. I actually secured a new spot, and then didn't have the finances to make it happen comfortably. I wasn't prepared with a business plan and a vision, and like I didn't have my side set up. I actually had people who were interested in investing, but I couldn't produce what they needed, business plan and what their ROI would be and all of that to get it pulled together quick enough. I felt like I had been pushed out of an airplane and I was stitching a parachute on the way down, with a parachute stitching teacher on my back teaching me how to do it on the way down. And I was like,
chaotic.
You know what?
Yeah.
Parachute stitching teacher, will you just pull your chute? Let's not do this right now.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much. So I gave it to God.
Yeah.
Like that's just how I felt. I just go, you know what? I don't know what its future is, but here's what I do know. We've been closed almost 9 months, and I've had 3 people in the last week go, what's happening with Good or Goods? And that to me is a powerful sign.
That's huge.
Like to go, okay, we've been out of business and you're still talking to me about Buffer Bites, the Fluffle, and the Chorizo burrito.
Yep. Okay, that's the best.
I know.
I miss that burrito.
Yeah, I do
think
too.
about it.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, and the Jakarta Fruchavo burrito. I hadn't thought about those for a while. But so I don't know. But I also go, kind of feels like it's in the wings, and I don't know what its future is, but just how it came about in the first place, which was unplanned and perfect. If it's going to happen again, that's how it will happen again.
Yeah. Well, you also are very led by spirit and by God, and you trust in the universe, which is something I'm just trying to start to do. Yeah, I think that also comes with like just being a planner and wanting to have some sort of control to ease any anxieties and uncertainties, which is another reason why I admire you so much. But while you are in the process of running this business, and you've never ran a cafe before, you get a big diagnosis. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And because this took me by surprise when I found out, because you led a life all about health and wellness. And this happened to you. So expand on that.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with, I didn't even know it existed, stage 0 breast cancer.
I thought you made a joke when I saw that on Instagram. I was like, stage 0? I never even heard of that either.
Right.
So yeah, tell me.
Yeah, it just exists. There's a stage 0, and it was DCIS, which meant it's inside the duct. So it hasn't like spread, it's whatever. Got it because I went and got a mammogram. I didn't have any lumps or any suspicion. I just annual regular mammogram. And then they called me back. They're like, hey, we want to look at this, and then did a biopsy, and we're like, hey, you got this. So your options are to do a lumpectomy, remove like the area and little area around it, take meds for 5 years, and have one boob that's a little not like the other anymore, or just double mastectomy, take them both off, reconstructive surgery, get implants put in, and no drugs after that, no more mammograms after that. Like, which one you want to do?
I mean, I'm just sitting here like, can we take option B? Like,
Yeah.
okay. So was that an easy decision for you to make, or did that, I mean, what was your initial reaction when you got that diagnosis? Like, how did you feel in your body? How did Nate respond? I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think if Nate were sitting here, he would furrow his brow the whole time I share, because I feel like that's what he's done a couple times when I'm telling the story. Because I feel like I didn't curl up in a ball and fall apart.
No.
Like, I was just like, all right, well, what do we do? Like, what are my options?
Yeah.
And what do we do? And I mean, I'm sure I cried. It wasn't like, that's not positive news.
Yeah.
But it was also like, okay, well, now what? And start reading about it. And how do I handle this? I had some people, I also was, what you started to say is like, wait a minute. I'm pretty health conscious.
Yeah.
I am not a rock star. Sugar is my weakness. I look for dessert after every meal.
Offered you champagne. You're like, no, I'm going to have my kombucha. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, no alcohol, never done drugs in my life. Like, pretty clean. Exercise since 1995 religiously.
Yeah.
So, and then also, like, my family doesn't have those habits either. Like, they're not into all of those things, and like, they don't have the diagnosis, and it's like, how this happened. And I remember somebody saying to me, like, well, cancer is a mystery. We don't know. Don't beat yourself up trying to figure it out. And I was like, nope. I need to look at my life and go, how did I contribute to this? Because that's powerful. That's something I can do something about to some degree going forward.
Yeah.
So sugar and stress felt like my immediate answers. The stress of that business on our relationship, and just the stress of having that business, because it didn't make money the first year and a half.
Yeah. Most businesses don't.
So I go, stress was part of it. And then I think sugar, it was a big contributor. So I still do sugar, like cocaine, but it's a lot less.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more, I'm more discerning about what kind, so it's like, I would love to eat a whole box of Reese's Pieces.
Oh, yeah. Those are,
I love it.
I mean, you just miss snorting those pixie sticks.
Yeah. I mean,
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's less of that and more, I mean, sometimes I'll be really disciplined and have like an apple and almonds, but sometimes it's an apple and peanut butter, which I think is a little less. Or nutso. Do you know what nutso is from Costco?
No, never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's all like pure, it's all whole or ingredients. So it's chia seeds and a couple different nuts, like it's, but no oils, nothing added extra to it. So it's good. Nutso.
Okay.
It's also nutso price, like, for the 15 ounce, it's like, expensive.
All healthy foods are so expensive.
Right. So, but you pay for your health before or after. You pay for your health no matter what.
Yes, that's very true. It is.
It is. So anyway.
So this wasn't hereditary. Like, none of this ran in your family.
My aunt had breast cancer like the year before I did.
Okay.
So, but I also did like the testing of, maybe it was, I can't think of it.
I don't know
right
the name
now.
of it, but I know what you're talking about. Like the genetic
kind of
genetic
whatever.
testing if you have a disposition for certain strains.
And it was none and zero. Everything was zero.
Yeah.
So
Total mystery.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, but it felt helpful to read a little bit about it and go, okay, well, I also think my birth control contributed to it.
The synthetic hormone is so terrible for you.
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
Yeah.
I know. I got off birth control because I was just my heart. Like, I was looking at my CRP protein and they were like, that is directly a result of the synthetic hormone inside of your birth control. I got off of it. My CRP went significantly down.
Yeah.
Like, I was at high risk for stroke and heart attack.
Wow.
Like, that's where I was at. The second, 2 months of being off of it, I went back into the regular zone.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So how long was it after you got the diagnosis that you went into the reconstructive surgery and then you got the double mastectomy? And what was that process like?
Yeah. I don't remember the timing of it, but it was pretty quick. Like 4 months or something.
Very quick.
My surgery was 11/11/21. November 11/21.
Yeah.
And I feel like my metaphor for this whole thing was I got 3 weeks notice that there was going to be a tornado. And I got to pack up all my animals and all my valuables and all my people and moved somewhere else while my house got ripped up. And then I just got to move back and repair. But it wasn't this, I didn't do chemotherapy.
Yeah, that's
Like I didn't have radiation. I had stage 0. And so someone bought me a shirt that said Warrior and the A was the pink ribbon. And I was like, I can't wear this. Because the Warriors are the one who had, this makes me want to cry too, didn't have notice.
Yeah.
Like hit the house, lost the animals, like life was destroyed, deconstructed in a huge way.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. That's not my experience. So I feel like I got like the cancer light. I don't know.
I mean, it could have gone so many different ways, but yes, that's why it's so important to get routine mammograms.
Yes.
Yes.
It's challenging because I read that they also can be the cause of cancer.
Really? Can you expand on that? Because I've never heard that before.
No, because I feel like, so I got into, I bought a bunch of books, like, what causes cancer, what protects you from whatever, kind of was diving into that. And then I decided I didn't want to marinate in all of that.
Yeah.
Like, and identify by that and become consumed in it. And I don't know. So like I read a couple books and was just kind of like, that's interesting. Oh, sugar likes cancer cells a whole lot and is like, just little things. And I just remember reading. So I can't even go into depth and detail. Okay. And so anyone listening to this, you can
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. And then you can write back and be like, Harmony was completely wrong about that. And, it was a Smurf that wrote the article she read. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it also felt like, that feels believable. You're going into this machine that's taking image, like, you're interacting with that tissue in a kind of not natural way.
Yeah, that's true.
So to think that might create some problems or issues in that tissue makes sense to me. Like I wasn't like, nah.
Yeah.
Not possible.
Yeah, no. So one thing I remember, I think I saw you shortly afterwards because you were back at the cafe.
Yeah.
Like very quickly.
Yeah.
I remember being surprised to see you and being like, what are you doing here? And you were showing me and you told me something really cool that I actually like really loved. You were like, look at these tattoo artists that create these very realistic areolas.
Yeah.
And that a lot of people will like they'll practice on others and they'll do like they like cover up people's tattoos for free if they allow them to practice on them.
Oh, I didn't know
those.
That was, I don't know. I don't remember that.
I don't know.
I do remember I didn't have to have that done.
Okay.
They like were able to preserve mine or keep them. So I didn't have to have that done, but I was probably looking into it because maybe I didn't know at the time, but
I remember just being blown away by these 3-dimensional looking tattoos that were so realistic. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I didn't have that done, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
And then, so while was the recovery, how long was it about? I know you were still back and going at it, but like, how long did it take for your body to adjust? Just to give, I mean, I know everybody's different, but like if someone is listening to this and if they're about to get a double mastectomy, what is something that you can share with them to give them some insight about what to expect, best ways to prepare, any tips, ways to prep or ways to recover, things that have helped you?
Yeah. One of the gifts of going through this is the ability to share with other people who are going to go through it. So I posted on social media when I got diagnosed and I took some before pictures of myself and posted it. And the reason I posted it was because I wanted everybody and anybody to know that I had had the experience so they could reach out to me if they wanted to ask questions like this.
I saw that, yeah.
And I've only had a couple, but actually somebody right now today is in surgery and her mom's been communicating with me and just asking me some questions and what my experience was and everything, so it's like, because I was open about it, one of the gifts of the experience is I can be available for other people and support other people in what they're going through. Yeah. So the biggest thing the most important thing for me in recovery is I got a recliner. I got a recliner off of Craigslist.
I saw the Craigslist. Yeah,
it
recliner.
was massively helpful because I couldn't sit up on my own. I couldn't use my arms to sit up. So that little foot leg thing, I could just push down on that to get up. So nice. If someone's about to have it, like how to prepare, it's like, well, I had 17 years I have a mantra and prayer meditation. So that was massively helpful for me. So as I'm laying on the table and like waiting to go into surgery and all of that, it's like I have Om Mani Padme Hum is my mantra. I have a handful of prayers memorized. So my mind was just able to go into what I've been doing for a really, really long time. Like I just have this place to go.
Yeah.
That was really helpful. Being physically fit going into surgery, massively helpful.
Yeah.
So, and then I remember when I started teaching again, I would say, get strong now for what you don't know is coming.
Wow.
Because I remember so vividly the nurse taking me over to the bathroom for the first time to go to the bathroom. And I went in and she was by the door and she said, do you need help standing up off the toilet? And I was like, girl, I could hold a static squat for 3
I'm
minutes.
doing a wall sit right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had built mental and physical strength, stamina, resiliency that probably made that procedure way easier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was easy. I remember thinking I felt like I'd been attacked by lions. I just felt like in my torso and my chest, like this is what I imagine a lion attack would feel like.
Yeah, painful.
Yeah, so I mean,
and it's more extensive than just a boob job.
Oh, for sure.
Way more extensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get all your tissue removed, and then yeah. So, so certainly there was plenty of discomfort for sure, but also life tools that I could apply and apply and apply and apply over and over to get through it. Yeah. And then I remember asking my physical therapist, my reconstructive surgery, like, how soon can I do push-ups? And they're like, whoa, Nelly,
Shocker.
But I was like, I'm not going to push it. I'm going to be smart about it.
Yeah.
But also, as soon as you give me a green light, I'm going to start working on that again.
Yeah.
So it's like, as soon as they said yes, I was like, I'm going to start building that back up.
Because again, you don't want to marinate in that area of life for too long.
Oh yeah, no.
You don't. Yeah. So I totally agree, and I understand that not wanting that to become your reality, but your identity. I get that completely.
Yeah.
But how has that experience made you look at life now?
Well, first I want to answer too, because you asked like how long. So I think November 11th was my surgery. I would say like in the mid-January. I think that's when I kind of had clearance to start like doing push-ups again and like really had more.
I saw you way before.
Mobility.
I feel like I saw you in December.
Listen, I think I came in 4 weeks and taught with drains still in. I know I did. I taught with drains still in because I had a shirt on and I got so hot I had to take it off, and I was like, sorry you guys, because I had these drains. That I can't believe I did that.
Talk about how just the people probably in that room being like, this woman, mad respect, and then the people who didn't show up to class. What is your excuse? Like, really, what is your
I wasn't
excuse?
practicing. I was just teaching, but
I know, but
anyway,
still,
yeah.
But still, even teaching, that requires you exert energy when you teach. So
yeah.
Okay, so what was it? Just like, so did you just like have drains in your boobs?
They come
like,
out.
To, like, come
so
out?
like it's a little thing that's like a tube that's inside your skin.
Yeah.
Comes down here, is external here, and just has a little blood.
And then you
they
like
look
empty them
holsters. Out. You empty them out, every day.
My mom, she got her thyroid removed, and she had a tube out of her throat that I had to help her with.
Yeah.
I don't know how nurses do it. So who helped?
Thank you, nurses.
I mean, thank you, nurses. I know. So was Nate? How was Nate? Was he very helpful throughout? Obviously, I'm sure he was. But like, was he the one who was kind of there for you all day, every day? Like post recovery, was he the one emptying your drainage pouches?
A little bit. I was able to do it myself. So yeah, he was helpful and supportive. And what do you need? What can I do?
Yeah.
And my parents came in town.
That's
I had
great.
lots of friends come by. I mean, I just was massively supported. So yeah, it was good.
I love it.
Yeah.
So did we answer the question of how you look at life now?
Oh, well, prior to that experience, I was already practicing gratitude.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
do.
was,
You preach
it's
it.
funny. Nate just asked me today on a phone call. He said, like, what do you want to leave the world knowing, or what do you want to teach, whatever. And I said, slow down and savor. So that was, I wrote that on a sticky note for some yoga classes a couple of times. Just slow down and savor, be present, be grateful. And especially grateful in the minutia. And so I have these necklaces on. I can put these on myself. I have these earrings on. I can find, I don't even need to see it, Tessa. I can just I can feel it with my hand. Like my fingers can sense a little post. I can find the little hole in my ear. I can put it in. I can find where it needs to click into the back part. I can put on a watch. This is this unending
Yeah.
list of daily things that I'm blessed to do.
That people take for granted and overlook.
I only know my experience, but maybe yes.
Yeah.
I mean, but so even before this diagnosis, I had been immersed in a daily gratitude practice that just kind of has kept growing. I was doing private yoga lessons for somebody who eventually passed away, but she lost motor skill control in her hand and couldn't put mascara on anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. And so 70% of the time when I'm applying mascara,
You think of her.
I think of her and I think, gosh, I'm so lucky I can fine tune, put this black gunk on my eye hairs. Like,
Which is such a weird thing.
Such
to even,
a weird
like,
thing,
yeah,
but
it does make a difference. But
like that list is so long. And I was rinsing off my Invisalign trays today, watching that water come out of the faucet going, man, such a gift. Clean running water, such a gift. You know, like, so I was already of that mindset. So I don't know that
it really changed that.
it really changed an outlook. Yeah. Yeah.
Did it your relationship afterwards, did that change at all? Your relationship with Nate? And even with his kids and even with your friends and family, nothing really changed?
Because of that experience?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No?
No, I mean, it was really nice that he was, like, I was at the grocery store and I was like, do you need anything from the grocery store? And he's like, well, if you could bring home a hot blonde that has drains hanging out. Aw.
Yeah.
So just no aversion, no, like completely supportive. So no, I don't feel like anything's changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for anyone who's listening, because I know Nate asked you this question today, like other than slow down and savor, for anyone who's going through a hard time, because the whole premise of this is how you take your pain and turn it to power. How have you done that in the past? What have you relied on? Have you relied on gratitude, spiritual aspect of being? How have you turned your pain into power, and how would you recommend others do the same? It's a loaded one.
Inner resource. So you have God, you have like a spirit, inner knowing, to get in better relationship with, to get quiet with. So you have an inner brilliance, a divine inner brilliance. And if you keep your eyes open and your hands outwardly reaching, you'll never access and tap into that inner brilliance. So one, sit down, shut up.
Yep. Listen.
Sit down, stop moving, stop doing, stop consuming.
Feel.
Yeah, and just so inward exploration. And then I also love mentors or guides, teachers. I am a voracious reader. I've started going to church about 6 months ago. So first in, every day in, even if that's like, what am I doing in here? Just sit down and be quiet. Just set a timer, 2 minutes. Just sit and see what shows up.
Yeah.
and then find people who are working on themselves, working to elevate, working to improve, working to transform.
Yeah.
Spend time with them, ask questions of them, interact with that kind of content every single day.
Yeah. I think you were one of the first people who stressed the importance of finding inspiration.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
I never really grew up understanding or feeling the need to do that. I never really did until I think you gave me the Happiness Advantage. You gave me that book.
Sean Aker, love him.
Yep, you gave
Love
me
it.
that book, and you were like, because I think that I had hit a wall in teaching. Like I was just kind of like, I just feel like I'm not getting the same energy. Like I just feel like I'm like a rat in the wheel doing the same thing over and over. And you're like, you need to tap into some inspiration and how inspiration fuels the soul. And that also has led me into creating this space. And I think that it's also like not even a coincidence that you are the first one to be in this particular space with me
Yeah.
doing this. And I just want you to know how much I love you and how much I appreciate you and how I call you my mama bear all the time because you are. But you're also that way to so many people. So is there anything else that we need to look out for in the world of harmony? Anything that we should look out for in terms of updates with Good or Goods, life where you're teaching now, like anything that you want
Here's
the
the
world
biggest
to know?
thing. I've done a weekly email and I kind of stopped, like fell off doing it, and I picked it back up. So I'm sending weekly emails. I do yoga classes at my house right now. Pretty much
House is gorgeous.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, but in that, for the past 3 weeks, I've been offering 2 free coaching sessions. So it's one of my favorite things to do is to life coach someone, sit down, open up their emotional junk drawer and go, ooh, like, even if it's one thing that we can just take out and it feels a little progress, like a little lighter, a little better. So I offered 2 free coaching sessions. I have like 118 people on my email list, and I had one person write back and say, I would love to.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, and I actually held off for probably 6 weeks in offering that in my email because I was afraid I was going to get inundated with yeses and be booked out and be like, sorry, Tessa, I can't get you until August.
Yeah.
So I had one person say yes, which I'm working with her now. We did our first session and she goes, how do I pay you? And I go, this is free. She goes, well, next week. And I said, next week is also free. And so when we met our second week, she's like, how do I pay you? I said that this one's free. And she goes, you pinky promised me you'll let me pay you next week. I was like, yeah, girl.
We went through this dance before too. You were like, it's free. And I was just like, here's some money, just take it.
So anyway, so the next week, like I wrote at the end of the email, like, hey, nobody, like 1 out of 118 took me up on this 2 free coaching sessions.
You're like, but people think you're lying.
What in the world? And I
They don't believe
promise
you.
I'm not going to try to sell you. I can't promise you won't want to continue, but I promise I'm not going to try to sell you. So then I had 2 other people be like, okay, like I would like to. And then I had one other person reach out and say, I've been saving your emails the past 2 weeks. I know I'm going to have to get vulnerable. And so I haven't said yes because
You're not ready yet.
I know what this is going to take. Well, she's scheduled with me too. Anyway, anybody who's listening to this who hasn't done 2 free sessions with me, which would be an hour and a half, 2 hours if we really need it.
And that's a high value.
It's a high value. You'd be insane not to.
Yeah, like how much life coaches and therapists charge, like arm and a leg.
Yeah. Oh, and my girl that I'm working with, she goes, she's really good for me because we get done and she's like, you're good. She's like, you're better than a therapist. Anyway, awesome. But I love to sit and listen and then just guide and nudge and then text a couple days later and go, hey, did you you know, just help people live a little bit more consciously and light or happy or deep or connected, like whatever it needs. So 2 free coaching sessions.
2 free coaching sessions. I'll include that in the show notes too. I'll be like, if you want to hit up Harmony for some of Harmony's gorgeous wisdom, it's not a lie.
It's not a lie. And
not a lie.
And it's like, am I looking to grow my coaching business with 2 free sessions? Yes. And also, if all you get, if all you do is come and get 2 sessions and that's what works for you and your financial situation isn't that you can do any more than that at the time, that's okay too. That's added value. You're helping my life karma. Let me help you.
Yeah.
It's still a gift to me. So if you feel like, oh, I don't want to burden her, I don't want to come and take advantage of that. It's not. Like, I'm here to serve. I want to serve.
Yeah.
And it will come back to me, whether it's from your wallet or some other financial fluidity flow into my life.
Love it.
So it might not be direct, but freaking let me coach you.
Yeah. Just
Get in here.
Let it happen.
Let it happen.
Love it. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Harmony.
Thanks
Mama
for having
Bear,
me.
you're the best.
Yeah.
2 free coaching sessions.
Yeah, do it.
2. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Okay.